Hello, my name is Brenda. My channel is Handwork Maniac. And today we're going to do a WIP parade. That is all of my cross-stitch projects that I have started but not finished yet. WIP is work in progress. And that's quite a few. I just finished filming my end of December update and finish parade, so I told you stats for 2023 in there. This is my pages for 2024. This is all of the WIPs that I am starting the year with, written in order of when I started them, chronological order. And then on this side will be, I'll list starts and finishes. And this is just in my daily planner. I always have it with me, and I keep just track of starts and finishes in there. This is the one I keep by my chair. It's a 2-year planner. I'm on the 2nd year. This is where I write down every day what I stitched on. And then later I'll update my bullet journal. If I started something or finished something, I write it down on here, and then later I can transfer it into there. But for the WIP parade today, instead of showing it to you in chronological order like I usually do, I'm going to try and show it to you as I explain my plans, in the order that the plans are, so we can do 2 things at once. So this is kind of my plan for the year, right here. Okay, so there's a couple of pieces that I want to work on every day, and I'll show you those first. Then there's 3 stitch alongs that I'm in that I need to keep caught up every month. So I'll try and work on those towards the beginning of the month until they're caught up, and then I'll work on my other stuff. I kind of want to focus on these many extra large projects. They're huge. They just need to see regular progress or they're never going to get done. And I'm going to work on those on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So there's my extra large list. On Saturdays, I'm going to work on my one of my Theron pieces. I have 3 of them left. I just work on one at a time until it's done, and then I work on the next one for 2 hours in the morning, and then I want to focus on one of my full coverage ones for get a good 800 stitches in, 800 or 1,000 stitches in probably 800 in one of my full coverage pieces. So that's on Saturdays, and then later in the day on Saturday, I'll work on something, whatever else I want to. Sundays I'm going to work on my seasonal pieces. That's Lenarte 4 Seasons, and then my 4 montages. And then on snow days, I'll work on my snow day project. And then if I take all of these off the list, this is almost everything that's left. There's a couple of small ones that I didn't put on this list because I was trying to get them done by the end of 2023, but I didn't. So they'll be done they'll be done soon. And then I realized Fairy Square isn't anywhere on here. I hope I'm not missing anyone. Anyway, all of these that were left, I put on my WIP Go board, and I will focus on those. These aren't the extra large projects. These are more just the large projects that keep getting carried over from year to year. So I'd really like to focus on 2 of those a month and either get significant progress on them so I can finish them either the next year, or finish them this year. So those will be, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'll work on the whatever 2 WIP Go pieces were called for the month. Except for the first week of the month when I'll work on getting my stitch alongs caught up. Clear as mud? Okay. All right, so I usually have a daily piece that is either lingering or languishing or just needs to get done that I work on a little bit every day. And this year that is going to be Spring Creek Fever. I'm just going to pull the WIPs off the shelf when we get to them. So hopefully this works out, because I don't have them all stacked up in order like I usually do. This is a kit by Elsa Williams called Spring Creek Fever. It's an old kit. I don't know how old. It doesn't have a year on it, but I bought it on eBay. It's a fly fisherman in a river, and I just think it's beautiful. It's like a watercolor look. My dad is a woodworker and has a wood shop. Likes to make things. And he made this frame out of driftwood and thought maybe I could put a cross stitch on it. And I just think it is so cool. 2 pieces that curve like that. So when I thought about what I wanted to put on it, I decided that because my dad is a fly fisherman and I spent lots of weekends out and about. Our family was always out camping or something on the weekends. So this reminds me of him. And I think it's gorgeous and it's the right size to fit. If I do it on a smaller, I'm not doing it on the kit fabric, I'm doing it on a hand-dyed 40 count, which has shrunk it to about 43 count, which I figured will fit on that frame exactly if I do that. And then I'll cut a few rows off the bottom, which won't matter. So that I've divided this into 12 sections. This is going to get done this year, and I need to keep up with every monthly section. So I'll work on it every day, and I'll see how that goes, like how I'm doing on the monthly section, if I really need to work on it every day. These are my 12 sections that I just drew a line, said I kind of need to be to this-ish part, and I'll do it. I'll stitch it across this way. So I'm stitching this whole stripe right here right now. So I'm using the kit floss, and the fabric is 40 count All the Things by Mystic Fabrics. And that is what I have so far. Because the kit has blended threads in it, and I am working on 1 strand of floss on 40 count, which is now about 43 count. For the places where it's blended, I'm going to put the 2 colors together, and I'll do 2-stranded tent stitch, just a half of a cross, because the fabric is so tiny you can't even tell that the half crosses from the full crosses. So that's how I'm going to deal with the blended threads in this one. I've done it already. The black, and I also think the texture difference just creates extra texture in the watercolor painting. I just think it's gorgeous. The darker pinky purple and the darker gray black is tent stitch with 2 strands of a blended color. I just think it looks cool. So that's how I'm going to do that. The Fabulous House series by Cottage Garden Samplings. It is a mystery stitch along this year. This is the one that came out in December. They've already shown the one that's coming out in January. That's a castle. There'll be 12 houses. I'm going to try really hard to keep up with this stitch along. So, and I figure that's going to be about an hour a day for me. So I'll try stitching on this every day for about an hour and see how it goes, see if I can stay caught up, if I need to do more or less. So that will be kind of a daily-ish piece. Mine is on 46 count prehistoric, which is the called for color fabric, but it calls for 40 count. I'm doing it on 46 count. And that's what I have so far. I'm trying to get caught up already. That castle section is going to be released any day here, and then I won't be done with this one. I'm doing it all on 1 piece of fabric. It's going to be huge. All together on 1 piece of fabric, it will be 370 by 495. So it's going to be quite large, but so fun. And then I've picked one of my full coverages to focus on this year. It's the closest to a finish. It is Mini 4 Seasons by Jacek. I can't remember his last name now. It'll be in the description box. It's a Heaven and Earth Designs. I'm doing the mini version. And I'd really like to do about 100 stitches a day on this. It probably won't happen every day. There will be some weeks where I'm trying to catch up on, a couple hundred on it, so every other day or something. But this is where I am so far. It's looking so good. These are parking bobbins. It's a bob ease plastic bobbin that pops open, and I wrap my parked threads around it to keep them under control. My daughter-in-law glued magnets to them for me and put a cute button on the front. She sells those in her Etsy store. It's Sunshine Mama's Designs. It's her Etsy store. These are, and she calls them parking bobbins. They pop open like that. So you can put the thread in there and wind it in and then pop it shut. And then she puts a cute button on the front and a magnet on it so it'll stay. She also sells needle minders and little beaded zipper pulls. But that's what those are, if you're wondering what those are. So that's my other daily project. I'm hoping to get significant progress done on this year. I'd really love to finish this one. And I love how it's looking. My full coverages, this one is on 25 count, Evenweave, 1/1 full cross. And I grid with an air soluble pen. So I'll just grid the area that I'm working on that day, and then it, by the next time I pull it out, the ink has disappeared because it's air soluble. Okay, and then I have 3 stitch-alongs that I need to keep up with every month, besides the Fabulous House series. So I'll work on those the first week of the month on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and try and stay caught up. I'm hoping by the first week of the month I'll have them all caught up. And then can work on my WIP Go pieces the rest of the Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. This is the Jardin Privé Au Fil de Nichois, or literal translation is Over the Nest Boxes. My lovely viewer, a viewer of mine, Joanne, who is a translator, said she would translate it as from birdhouse to birdhouse or from one birdhouse to another. This is the one we're doing with several friends. We get together every year at Stitch West in October, and we usually start one and then finish it by the next year when we come back. But everyone is welcome to join us. You do not have to go to Stitch West. We just kind of started in October and ended in October and divide it into 12 sections and see if we can get it done. The hashtag, if you want to join us, is October to OCT to OCT SAL, Stitch-along, or Birdhouse Stitch-along, or Au Fil de Nichois Stitch-along. And then our leader of the Stitch-along is Colette Stitcher on Instagram and the Highway Stitcher on YouTube. It calls for 32 count mocha. I think maybe they mean light mocha by Zweigert. I'm doing mine on 46 count oatmeal by Fiber on a Whim. I stitched the entire top border before I started so that I could, because there's one birdhouse for each month of the year and they're kind of themed for that month. So I stitched the whole top border so that I could count off of that to find where I could stitch this month's birdhouse. So I started with October, November, December. And then I spent the last couple days getting January done. So it is caught up for January. So cute. A couple of friends and I started the Halloween Sampler by Teresa Kogut. And first we thought we could finish it in a year. And then we figured it out and thought, no, let's take 2 years. That's way too much to stitch every month. So we kind of divided it into 24 sections and we're trying to finish it in 2 years. Mine is on 46 count Dark Mountain by XJU Designs. And I have not done the January section yet. But this is what October, November, December looks like. I love how it's looking. It looks so good. It's the called for colored threads. 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. So I'll try and keep that caught up every month. And then you may recall that Sharon and I are in a stitch along for Kingdom of Books. Oh my gosh, come out of there. This is a Russian kit. The company name on there translates to make it with your own hands. And then recently I found out that it also is known by Andriana, Andrianna. You can also find it under Andriana. They have several kits and patterns. I bought it as a kit several years ago. I'm not stitching it on the 14 count Aida that came with it, and I am not stitching this background up here or most of this wooden shelf down here. I'm stitching just a couple of rows of that wooden shelf. I picked an 18 count Aida that is kind of this color, over-dyed to be kind of this color, so that I didn't have to stitch that background. I'm just stitching the books and a couple of rows underneath. The book titles are in Russian, and I have translated them to English. My friend, actually, Mary, translated them to English for me, helped me out with that, and I am stitching the titles in English as I go, and all the titles are about the Netherlands because these books are, the artist made them look like the tall skinny houses along the canals in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. It's a beautiful pattern. Anyway, you may remember that Sharon and I started it and had a 3-year plan to finish it, and that meant it would have been done this month. And this whole last year, we kind of fell off the boat. So our new plan, we finished the first 2 years, got that much done. We have 1 year's worth of work left. We've decided we're getting back on the bandwagon, and we're going to finish it in 2024. There are, if I finish this greenhouse, there are 6 books left. So we need to do a half a book a month, which is what our original timeline was. We just kind of skipped a year. I'm using the kit floss and then this 18 count Aida. I think it's called Caramel Cream. I love that one. I also did just a little bit of this background around the top of the houses so that the white would pop, because the white trim was getting lost. So I am doing just a little bit of the background around the top of each house. So fun. I love that one. Excited to get back to getting that one done. Okay, so those will be my need to keep up with them every month stitch along stuff. All right, and then the extra large ones that really just need consistent progress all year on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so they'll at least go somewhere and eventually get done, are Serenity Harbor, this is by the Bay Needle Arts. It was originally a year-long stitch along, and I believe she's on Etsy, but I believe you still have to buy all 12 charts separately to do the whole thing. Calls for DMC, but I chose several overdyes for the big blocks of color. Big blocks of solid color I changed to overdyes. The rest is the called for DMC. The water is 2 colors of dinky dyes, mostly one color. The dark blue is only around the edge. Most of that water you see is one color of dinky dye. Let me know if you want to know what color it is. And I just stitched it in puddly shapes so it kind of looked like water. I love this one. Love, love, love it. I could say I'm like halfway, but this whole part has all this white space that's not stitched, and the whole bottom part is full coverage. So although I'm halfway down the design, I am not 50% done with the stitching yet. Oh, but I love that one. Mine is on 40 count Lakeside Vintage Lentil. 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. Let's see. I'm gonna put them down here. Pandemic, which is under here. And over here. Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. I'm doing mine with a variegated sulky S-U-L-K-Y 12 weight cotton in this variegated color that is a 4086 or cactus. I'm doing all the animals in this teal color of sulky 12 weight, which is $10.95. Oh, and then I'm doing the border in this dark green, which is one of the colors I pulled out of the variegated. It's $12.71. I'm using, mine is on 36 count antique white linen, 1 strand of sulky weight, 12 weight, over 2 fabric threads. I love the coverage of sulky on 36 count, 1 strand. Love working on this piece. It is quite big, but I do enjoy it every time I work on it. All right. Next is ABC. These are a series of alphabets by the Prairie Schooler. There were 3 letters in each leaflet. I'm going to do all 12 on the same piece of, all 26 on the same piece of fabric, sort of. Where's my picture? I combined G and H, and V and W, so I could make it into 24 squares. The patterns are close to 70 by 100 each, but not exactly, so I'm going to have to edit the patterns as I go to make sure they're all 70 by 100. I'm doing it on 28 count cream colored linen, 1/1 full cross. And I am using the called for colors, except for the red in these first few blocks was a really dark red, and you couldn't even see the letter in here, the A, B, and the C. So I chose a lighter red that's used later in the letters and changed to that. Otherwise, it's the called for colors. And I'm on D for drum. But that one's going to take a long, long time. I'd kind of like to do, I was thinking if I could do 6 letters a year, that would be done in 4 years. We'll see how that goes. If I can finish that much this year. And 12 Days of Christmas. This is a series by Liz Matthews. Hello from Liz Matthews. Oh, man. Oh, here's the first day of Christmas. She has 12 of them. She's through number 8. She's released through 8, I think, right now. I'm using the NPI silks. I'm going to stitch them all on the same piece of fabric. This is 46 count antique white linen, 1 strand of silk over 2 fabric threads. And I'm on number 3. And I was also thinking that if I could finish 3 and 4 this year, then I could be on, what would that be? The 3 or 4 year plan to get this one finished. Maybe that will be my goal for that one. I told you everything about, yes, I did. Okay, Christmas Village Afghan is over here. Pardon me while I reach. This is an Afghan pattern by Stony Creek. Christmas Village Afghan. Here's kind of a layout of the whole picture, because I know it's hard to see in the front. Those are all the pages in the book. And all the DMC colors you need. This is all stitching at the cabin. It's her fault, her and her daughter. I saw them working on it, and oh, it's so pretty. I needed to start it. It's also stitching big things with Hallie's fault, because she has also stitched it. And she's in the middle of the Halloween one. This is 4 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads on the called for 20 count Lugana. And this is what I have so far. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's all DMC except for this blue in the snowflakes. Right here is a variegated DMC, I believe. But all of this other is just shading, like 89 colors of brown shaded. But the effect is stunning, just gorgeous. But it does take a lot of floss. The biggest one is, I think, Forest Green 986. It takes 20 skeins. So it uses a lot of floss. But fun to work on because you feel like you're just flying along because it's so big. Oh, something fell off and covered up my list. Consider the lilies. What does that look like? Right here. Consider the Lilies by Heartstring Samplery. Mine is on 46 count flax by Zweigart with the called for colors. I believe they're all over dye. This is what I have so far. It's beautiful, just gorgeous. It is also very large. Main Street Electrical Parade. This was off of an Etsy store called Atomic Tiki Pins, and it's called Electrical Light Parade Mandala. It's charted for all DMC or there's also about half of it could be beads. So you can do the beading, or you can not do the beading and just do the DMC conversion of the beads. I have decided to bead it because that's what makes it look like the electrical parade. It's just stunning, but it's going to take forever. Mine is on 18 count chalkboard Ada. And this is what I have so far. He's about half stitched and half beads. And it just looks so good. My friend Colette, the highway stitcher, is also stitching this. We started it on the anniversary of Disneyland a year and a half ago. And the last one is Countryside Afghan. So I have 2 Afghans. This one is a Jim Shore Mill Hill collaboration. It will look like this when it's finished. It's like a full coverage Afghan. But I just think it is stunning. And it has beads because it's a Mill Hill collaboration. Oh, but it's so pretty. It's done on Fireside Afghan that has Afghan fabric that has this these borders woven into it. So you're kind of doing a square inside each square. So I am working on my second square. I believe this one is also 4 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. It's going to be so awesome. It's the called for Afghan fabric. I bought it at Stony Creek website. Okay, so those are the 9-ish extra large pieces that I'm going to pick 2 per month and work on Tuesdays and Thursdays, just so that they get lots of love this year and get some kind of progress. Okay, and then on Saturdays, I told you I was going to work on my Catherine Theron. I have 3, I think, left Catherine Theron pieces that I took as a class through a guild, either the EGA Guild or the Swan Sampler Guild that I used to belong to. The Swan Sampler Guild disbanded. But she came, taught the class. There was a kit that went with it, and I started those. But I just work on one at a time until it's finished. I finished Peaceable Kingdom in 2022, I think. And now I'm working on Bless This House. I'll work on it every Saturday morning for a couple of hours. It takes my daytime brain. So that's why I choose Saturday mornings. This is what it looks like. It has lots of specialty stitches in it. Right now I'm working on the grass. I think it's an encroaching goblin stitch. Can't remember now. And then that top section will sit on this grass, the house and everything. Those strawberries are queen stitches. The border is Montenegrin stitch. The birds and squirrel are over 1. I would guess this is maybe a 32 count linen. And then, where is Morning Has Broken? Does anybody know? It's probably hanging up somewhere. not that one. So after I finish Bless This House, I'll probably work on this one, an Irish Blessing sampler, which I haven't worked on since I took the class. But that's where this one is. It's quite big. That one will take a while. And then the other one is Morning Has Broken. Which will probably be last. Poor thing. My pin is caught. Which looks like that so far. This one has a whole bunch of spiral trellis in it. That will be a challenge. Okay. And then after I do 2 hours on that piece, whichever the current piece is, then I'll work on my, I think I have 4 other full coverage besides the 4 seasons, and I'll probably like alternate every Saturday and just pick one and do 800 stitches on that. So let me show you those. This one is called Autumn by Heaven and Earth Designs. I call it Autumn Cat. I'm doing it on 25 count moss Evenweave. 1/1 full cross. There are more parking bobbins that my daughter Hannah made. Daughter-in-law Hannah. Sunshine Mama's Designs. That one is just so pretty. This is the top of the cat's back, the middle of his back right here. And then there is here it is. Disneyland Kit by Neni Designs, N-E-N-I. I got this on Etsy years ago. I'm not sure if this version is still available. Mine only has 50 colors in it. It's an old poster. Disneyland map poster. I'm doing mine on a 40 count Dwarf by Picture This Plus. I started in the middle, and I am not stitching the sky, all the background. I'm just stitching the edge up to the edge of the map, which is sometimes a little tricky to figure out where it ends. But I've been over here for a long time working on It's a Small World, and I'm down here now doing the Mermaid Lagoon and the submarine, and now we're getting, there's the top of Space Mountain. I'm almost getting close to the edge over here. I think this is the middle of the map right here. Love this fabric. It is so beautiful. I wanted it to look like sky, kind of. One strand of floss over 2 fabric threads, full cross. And then I have one more called Miss Hathaway's Garden. It is a Marty Bell pattern from the late 80s, I want to say. Oh my goodness, look at my hair. It's gorgeous. So it's a very old chart. I just use a highlighter, copies and highlighters. And I'm doing it on 32 count something. .32 count Ariel by Picture This Plus, 2/2 full cross. And that's what I have so far. This one I just put a color on my needle and just stitch until the thread runs out, wherever that color is called for. All right, so those are the full coverage. And then on Sundays, I'm going to work on the seasonal pieces, which I pulled out. Oh, here they are. Too many piles, too many piles. This is a Lenarte kit called Four Seasons. I bought it as a kit. I'm doing it on the kit fabric, which is 28 count Lugana. And I'm using the kit floss. So 2/2 crosses. Oh, I should have taken this one off already. Sorry. I started in the middle where that bouquet of flowers is right here, so that I could move out from there and work on whatever season we were in. So here is, these poppies are summer, and the strawberries, this feather, and these pansies are spring. I was recently working on these mushrooms. Looks like we have 2 needle minders stuck together for fall. And now we get to switch to winter, and I can go finish that bunny, that cute bunny, and work a little. I try and work a little bit on this vase of flowers in the middle every time. There's a big bee right there. Such a pretty piece, but it will be, I don't know, a throw size, small quilt hanging size to hang on the wall. But I love working on it. Such beautiful colors. Lenarte, so oh, their patterns always get me. And then I have the 4 montages by Janet Stever. There are several Flosstubers working on them as full coverage versions from Paying Free Crafts, but I'm working on the, you can also get them in a Janlin kit, which is what I decided to do. But instead of the white fabric that, oh, it's actually a Fiddler's flecked fabric, off-white, that came with the kit, I am doing it on an over-dyed 36 count fabric with 2 strands of floss that I dyed myself with Rit dye. This is what I have done so far on autumn. So my crazy plan, oh, and I'm also doing, the kit has you backstitch everything in dark brown, but I'm just picking the darkest color in that object and backstitching with that so that the backstitch is not so stark. And my crazy plan is I would love to be done with these by the end of the year. I think that would be what you'd call a stretch goal. But I kind of looked at, like I pulled out winter and thought, okay, there's about 3 months per season. If I divided what was left into 3 sections, could I finish that much per month? So I'll keep you informed on how that goes. This is the Ada that came with the kits. It's like, it reminds me of fiddler's cloth, like an oatmeal color. This is summer. I've done the watermelon and started over here on this rose. So pretty. This one is spring. And this one is winter. So that's the one that I'll be working on until towards the end of March. Okay, and then snow day. I'll just try and work on for a little bit, maybe an hour. Depends on the day. I might only get a few minutes into it, but I'd really like to work on it every day that it snows. Which I need to pull it out and work on it today because it snowed all day. But I've been making videos all day. Where is, here we go. It's called Snow Day by Shannon Christine. And I'm doing it on 32 count Evenweave in Evenweave, light blue Lugana by Zweigart. And this is what I have so far. It calls for gold beads and white beads. I'm not going to use the gold beads. I'm using a Rainbow Gallery treasure braid for the gold, but I will use the white beads. But I'll probably have to do those at the end. Okay, so everything else that is still on the shelves, I think, except for Fairy Square, should all be on my WIP Go board. So the 2 that were called this month for January is Summer. One of them was my New Year's New Day start, which was quite handy. which is Summer Sketches Lighthouse by SV Stitch on Etsy. It has 20 colors in it. It's not very big. It's only 70 by 80 stitches, but it has 20 colors in it and blended threads and partial stitches, like quarter stitches and half stitches. But I think it's beautiful. It's all loud as fault. She showed it and I thought, oh, I need to stitch that. So I bought it. This is what I have done so far. There will be back stitching on that lighthouse so you can see it better. But I think I'll be able to finish this by the end of the month. It won't take very long. And then the other call for January is the Haberdashery. Started this one last January, I believe. It's by Doreen Jones. You can buy it from her on Etsy as a PDF, or it was also in a magazine. What magazine was it in? I didn't write it down. Oh my gosh. I'll have to get that information. But I bought it as a PDF off of her Etsy site because it was compatible with Pattern Keeper. So that makes it fabulous. I wanted to try easy count fabric, so I'm using 25 count easy grid fabric. These lines will wash out when I'm done. I don't have any back stitching on there yet. I had a viewer ask me, when you do it tiny like this, 1/1 on 25 count full cross, the back stitching ends up being a lot thicker and darker than it normally would if you were doing like 2/2 on 32 count and used one strand of one strand of floss for the back stitch. And I don't mind that really thick black line when I'm doing tiny like this. And I had a viewer ask what that was going to look like, and I told her I'd try and get to the back stitching so she could see, but I have not yet. But because it's a WIP call this month, I will be getting to that. I'll back stitch as I go. So it's like those flags are back stitched. As soon as I am finished with everything that touches these flags, I'll back stitch. And I'm doing this one cross country, where you just put a color on your needle and just go until the color runs out. With the called for DMC. Okay, now we'll just go through whatever is left on the shelves, because that will be it's either on the WIP Go board or it should have been on the WIP Go board. Hoping to get, these are in the kind of the large category, a couple of them are smaller. And I'd either love to get them like halfway done this year or all the way done this year. Sweet Like Chocolate will be done this year. It's very close. It's by Emma Congdon. It was in the World of Cross Stitch magazine of April 2019. I'm using the called for DMC on 32 count petals by Picture This Plus. It's an Evenweave. And it's so close. Lots of back stitch, but so close. Petals has just the slightest, it's really hard to see, but it's got a really slight splash of light pink and light green on it. Very subtle, but it's beautiful. 2/2. Maybe we can try that, see if it works. This is Letter B by Gigi R. She has one for every letter of the alphabet. 1, 2, 3 Stitch has all the letters, I believe. But it is way bigger than it looks. It's 300, almost 300 by 277. I'm using this variegated DMC floss that's sometimes called Paris, but is number 4515. It's blues and browns. They're so pretty. And I'm doing it on 46 count antique white linen. Steadfast Stitcher YouTuber was doing a project similar, a French samplerish type project with this same color floss, and I saw that and went, oh, I gotta do that. So I pulled this one out of my stash and I'm using it on this one. I think it's so pretty. This is Marquois Mystery by Isabelle Harcourt-Vatier. I'm doing a blue version on 46 count white antique Evenweave, antique white Evenweave. And I've just chosen a dark blue and a light blue and a tan. There's a really light tan in there, and then a sparkly white to do the accents on the big letters. I always want to work on this one in the winter. It feels very winter to me. That is gorgeous. This is Christmas Eve Sampler by Joan Elliott. I'm doing it on the called for 28 count pole stitches Daybreak. But I'm using, instead of black floss, I'm 310. Well, instead of normal floss, I'm using DMC 310 Floche. You don't take it apart, it's just one strand. Comes on a piece like this. It's thicker and fluffier than DMC, regular 6-stranded DMC. And I'm using 2 strands on this 28 count, 2 strands of Floche. And then the called for Krynic gold braid for the gold highlights. I started in the middle right here, moving up this way. The fabric is just gorgeous. That one goes so fast because it's just black. And those 2 strands of Floche cover so well. That one does not have a current one in it right now. Oh, this is Churchyard Christmas by Praiseworthy Stitches. I'm doing it on the called for 32 count Mirage with the called for threads 2/2. I got to work on the nativity part this year with Mary and Joseph and the baby and the 3 angels. All the kids dressed up doing the nativity. Such a fun one. I love this one. This is Give Thanks by Glendon Place. I'm doing it on 28 count vintage country mocha with the called for colors, which is partly, and beads, which is partly DMC, but it has this Wildflowers Marigold and Wildflowers Caramel and Wildflowers Almond. which is a bit thicker of a fiber, variegated. But it's all called for, and it looks so gorgeous. That's what I have so far. This is Retour au Chalet, or Back to the Cabin, by Madame Lafille. Mine is on 46 count Everything Else by Mystic Fabrics. And this is what I have so far. Oh, I love her pattern. She has the most lovely design aesthetic. This next one is R-Kade by Long Dog Samplers. Mine is on 40 count Conifer by Picture This Plus. Wow, further than I thought it was. I'm using Silks For You Silks in two colors. This autumny colors and this kind of a celery color. It's so gorgeous. I love working on it. And this fabric is amazing. These two don't have projects in them. These to shift. This is Rainbow Color Blocks by Vivian Powers, or Vivsters. I'm using the called for DMC on 46 count antique white linen, 1/2. One does not have the right tag on it. This is Beachcomber by Carolyn Manning. Using the called for DMC on 25 count antique white Evenweave. (1/1). It's looking beautiful. There's a couple of bags in there that don't actually have projects in them, so if you see me skipping some and you're thinking, wait, what's in that one? It's not a project. This is Scottish Door by Riolis. I bought it as a kit several years ago. I'm doing it on the kit Ada with the kit wool acrylic floss. It's 2 strands of floss and it's a 14 count Ada. And I love wool acrylic. Oh, it covers, it's like a really thin yarn. Oh, it covers so good. I love the colors in this one. So pretty. This one is antique. Band of Roses, 1845 by Cross Stitch Antiques. And mine is on 40 count maritime white linen, 1/2. And I'm down to the Band of Roses. It's just so pretty. This is Estate or Ete or Summer by Sarah what is her last name? Germani? Sarah Germani. This is her logo. It says Sarah on it. There are 4 of these, one for each season. This one is summer, and they all come with a button. This one has the cute geese button, a wooden button, but lots of colors, lots. Mine is on 40 count Scout. Who makes Scout, I wonder? By Seraphim. Scout by Seraphim. It's got some brown splashes and some blue splashes. It's kind of really cool. I love this one. I'm so excited to finally get to do a Sarah pattern. Look at the clothesline. Tiny little clothesline. This one I was trying to have done by the end of the year, but didn't make it. But it shouldn't take too much longer to finish it. It is Awesome Pattern Studio, Salt Lake City. I live just about 45 minutes south of Salt Lake City. So I had to do this one. It's on 40 count Summer Winds by Silk Weaver. This is Stitching Summer by Twin Peak Primitives. This was a gift from a dear friend. I'm using the called for flosses on 46 count Flan by Bestitch Me. I wanted it to look like sand. And I just started in the middle there. A couple of little crabs and part of a spool of thread. So cute, but look at that color. Whoa. The needle minders are not behaving. I think that's gonna look so cool. Because the blue down here is all stitched. The blue is full coverage of the water. That one does not have a project. This one is nope. Yes. Primavera in Città, or Spring in the City by Corchete Ogogo. Mine is on 46 count natural. My daughter Catherine finished all the borders for me this year for my birthday and Mother's Day. I was so excited. She went and filled in all the rest of the borders for me, so I can just continue filling them in. I love those bunnies. I just think those bunnies are so funny. The new one that came out this year, the Christmas one. Oh, Christmas in the City. Oh, I love that one too. Might have to do that one. Might have to do all the seasons eventually. Why not? And then this one is Fairy Square, which is not, I missed somewhere. I'm gonna have to stick this one in somewhere. This is a Carolyn Manning design. Called Fairy Square. I did a complete color conversion that's going to look similar to something like this. It was also a gift from a dear friend. It's on 46 count a Frost by Stitch Me. Stitch Me. And I would like to finish this one this year. I just need to figure out where to put it in because apparently it's not on the WIP board. What in the world? All right, did that one. Next is Sleeping Princess by Mirabilia. I'm using the called for threads. And mine is on 32 count Water Lily. Worked on mattresses this year. That was so fun to get into those colorful mattresses. It should be this big. Those colors are just amazing. And it doesn't even have the beads on it yet. So pretty. And this is Modern Folk Embroidery Zimmerman coverlet. I'm doing this on 56 count antique white linen because I wanted to try 56 count. Oh, I'm trying to think of the Flosstube channel. I keep meaning to message her and I can't. Is it Running with Scissors, Jane and Julie? Oh, they make me laugh. She is working on this as well. And she is doing hers on 25 count, 1/1. And I wish I had done that. Because if I had done that, this would be done by now. And I'm sure yours is gorgeous. I'm using DMC variegated 121. I am not going to do all 3 repeats. I'm only going to do 1 repeat. Hoping to finish this year. And this is what I have so far. That variegated DMC is so pretty. One strand of floss over 2 fabric threads on 56 count. This is Patchwork Sampler by Houtman. And it's on 46 count antique white linen, and I'm just pulling a whole bunch of colors out of my stash. I'm going to do a kind of some purples and then a section of blues and then a section of greens. So right now we're in the purples. And I think most of them are overdyed silks left over from other projects. But at the rate this one's going, it's gonna last, it's gonna go on forever. Of course, I've restarted it like 3 times and that does not help. One strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. And it's got a needle sticking out of the bag somewhere. This is Vintage Black Sampler by Al Forest Embroidery. And I'm using 12 weight sulky black thread. On 20 count opalescent Lugon or Ada. 20 count opalescent Ada. So fun to see the ones you haven't worked on for a while. You just want to work on all of them. You're like, ooh, I like that. I want to get that out and work on it. 1 strand of sulky over 1 Ada square. Is that Zimmerman? Yes. This one is Home is Where My Stitching Is by the Primitive Hair. It came as a kit. It was part of a fundraiser through, oh, I can see her face. It'll come to me. Oh, probably says on the chart somewhere. Maybe. No. You know who I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. And it came with this fabric and these threads, colors, but I decided to do it on 36 count agave linen with these 3 colors of sulky 12 weight and white DMC floche. Trying to remember if it's just 1 strand of floche. Yes, 1 strand of floche because it's on 36 count. And it's looking so good. One strand of sulky or floche over 2 fabric threads on 36 count. I missed showing you one of the full coverages. Okay, we're almost done. 2 more. This is ABC de la Bradouze by Jardin Privé. I really wanted to try. I love this pattern after seeing EJ work on it of Sunshine Stitchers. And I wanted to try banding too. And I thought this would be a great piece to work on banding. This is 25 count banding. I'm using 1 strand of floss, the called for DMC over 1 fabric thread, so 1 over 1, and it barely fits. I got this at my LNS a couple of years ago, so I don't know. where you could find it now. And then the one full coverage, last one that I forgot to show you. I bet some of you were wondering. Lilia especially was like, hey, wait a minute. There is a picture in here somewhere. Here it is. A stitching shelf. Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Amy Stewart. I got the version that does not have the cartouche in the middle. And this is where this one is. But hopefully it will see some progress this year because I'm going to work on it every 4th Saturday. That pink spot is a thread. 1/1 full cross on 25 count Evenweave. Okay. I believe that's all the bags. So that must be all of the projects. Thanks for watching my end of year WIP parade. And I should be back towards the end of January with a monthly update. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.